What's up YouTube, it's Thien, back with another video. Today's video is going to be talking about your coworkers and to be wary and be careful of your coworkers. In this video I'm going to be talking about how camaraderie and culture isn't always what it's supposed to be and the do's and don'ts when it comes to your coworkers. Things to be careful of, things to look out for, and things to even invest more into. So let's get into it. Let's start off with the positives, the do's, what to do with your coworkers. I think the most important thing here is to be honest with your coworkers. I think honesty is a very important thing when it comes to your relationship with your coworkers. I think it's an important attribute and trait to have in life, but even more so in your work life, just because in your career, especially in corporate America, you're gonna be spending at least 40 hours a week in general. Now this could be a give or take depending on your field, your specialty, what you do for work. But again, this is corporate America. I think the general consensus is you're working 40 hours a week. So be honest, you wanna not always be looking over your shoulder and back of your shoulders and always be able to do honest work and have honest work and be honest with everything that you speak about. Another do to mention is to prioritize yourself before others, especially your coworkers. There's so many times I've heard about, and I've been in situations where coworkers, they're getting overloaded with work and they're always asking for help. Me, myself being a senior in my jobs, I tend to have a lot of juniors and mid-levels and even other leads and seniors come to me for my help and my knowledge. And I think it's important to understand that I do also have work and it's important to prioritize my work before others. Now, obviously, there might be other work that needs immediate attention. Now, you should be able to be the judge of that. And if you're not, then maybe there's something to focus on for yourself, which is to learn priorities. But again, the do is to prioritize your work before others, because you can easily get overloaded with others' work and helping others, and that ultimately might not help you in the long run, just because then you might end up lacking in your work, and then you're pushing other people's work and you might not get the credit for it. Not everyone's a good person, and I think that's the thing to look out for, is that not all coworkers are looking for your best interests. And they're not incentivized to, I think team players are important, but it's corporate America. It's dog eat dog. It is what it is. And there's no hate or anything towards coworkers. It's a part of the game. And it's just something to be aware of. And so another do I wanted to get into that might not sound like a do because of what I've been saying, but a do is to make friends. Make friends, but be selective. I think it's important to understand that, working so much alongside your coworkers, you should be able to make friends with them. If you don't like your coworkers and if you're having a miserable life, and I've been in situations and jobs where I didn't like any of my coworkers and it just felt miserable. And you don't want that because you're spending so much time with them. And so, make friends and be selective with who you become friends with. And what I mean by that is be selective who you spend time outside of work with. I think it's important to build relationships that are more personal with your coworkers outside of work. If you have some people that have common grounds with, these are people that you're working alongside with. So in general, they're on the path of life and have a lot of commonalities with you because they're working with you. So make friends with your coworkers, and you might be surprised. Some of these people could be lifelong friends. I know I've had quite a few friends from all my previous jobs. Again, I've worked over 20 different jobs throughout my career, and in the last 5 years, I mentioned before, I've worked over 7 software engineer jobs, and each job I've at least made 2 solid friends that stayed with me out after leaving the jobs. So just because we're wary of our coworkers doesn't mean we should be worried about making friends. This goes into another do that I want to mention is do keep business and personal life separate. And what I mean by that is, talk work at work. This isn't always easy to talk about because, it's hard to separate personal and business a lot when you're spending so much time at work and then you have your family and friends and your own life outside of work. I think it's very healthy to have a clear separation of the two. But again, right, the last do I was mentioning is that you should be making friends. So, with the friends you do make, it's okay to share some more personal life with them, because they might be a part of your personal life after, if you ever leave the job that you're currently in. So it's important to, have that clear definition of, who's really your friend, who's just a coworker. I think that's like the main thing about all these dudes right now. And so let's get into the don'ts. Don't tell everything. Don't tell everyone at work everything about you. Don't be so open. You know, me, myself, I do wear my heart on my sleeve, but after having worked, multiple jobs simultaneously and consecutively, I've learned to, keep my mouth shut at times. And that's not a bad thing per se. I'm very honest with myself. I just don't, share everything that doesn't need to be shared. Business and personal life should be separate, and your business is your business as well. I think your business and the business you have at work can be separated as well. Like, I shouldn't be sharing, I'm working 2 jobs with both my jobs, because that can easily come back to bite me in the ass. Or even just saying something about, hey, I'm gonna go to a concert, but then you tell your manager that, I'm taking a sick day. That can easily come back to bite your ass as well. So again, it's not about lying at all, neither. I'm not vouching to lie. I'm vouching to be honest. The first dude that I mentioned is to be honest with what you're doing. You're allowed to take personal days. Just be an adult about things. Be mature. I think that's the important part. So again, don't tell everything. You don't need to tell everything. You don't need to share with everyone at work everything about your life. They really don't care that much. I mean, they're there to work just as you are. And that's not to say to not share anything at all, right? It's important to share that, oh, hey, maybe you're having kids soon, or maybe you're getting married soon, or important life events that maybe would be important to share with work, because then that can also play in favor of your work as well. Because, hey, what if you're getting married soon and you're stressed out about the wedding? People at work, your coworkers, or even your manager, or people around you are going to understand that you're going through things, and then maybe they won't, shoot you in the foot and then add more work to your workload, knowing that you have a wedding coming up, for example. I think these are things to share, but maybe not share that you're getting blacked out drunk to celebrate that you just got engaged. You know what I mean? That might not look the best for you, because then they might know that you get blacked out all the time or something. Just think about what you share with everyone. Be selective with what you share, but it's important to share, not to hide everything, but don't tell everything. Essentially, that's the main don't. Another don't I want to mention is that don't think that just because things are outside of work hours stays outside of work. So when you're hanging out with your coworkers, going to happy hour, or you have the holiday party or what have you, you tend to overshare. And this goes back to the original don't overshare. Don't share everything. Just because you're outside of work, just because you might be a little intoxicated and others intoxicated and others share stuff with you, that doesn't always mean that you should be sharing everything. So this is just like a little sub don't of the original don't is, don't overshare. Essentially, that's the main don't I wanted to get the point across on. And so I wanted to touch base on some caveats with coworkers and how it can actually be beneficial to you to build a relationship with your coworkers. I think based on my own personal experience, a strong camaraderie can actually be very beneficial to you. For example, from my own experience, I was working at a very large, tech company. My last job 2 years ago, it was at a publicly traded tech company. We're a SaaS company, and I think having a strong camaraderie with my coworkers, being able to, really feel like I'm alongside them, that we were a team ourselves, and we were the engineering department. We went on this thing called a silent riot kind of thing, and it's we had our own group chat outside of work, and we understood that we were against design, and it was a whole thing. That's a story for another video. Moral of the story is that the camaraderie that was built in that job I had was very important to my job as a whole, because then that led to not only me, having not wanting to turn our camera on, for example, or just gaining some power ourselves. We kind of had a silent union going on, right, within our workspace. And I think that can be very beneficial to your own work, and it could be almost enjoyable for your work, because you didn't feel alone and you felt that others are also struggling on the path with you. Another caveat I wanted to mention, or another thing to be aware of when it comes to coworkers and working with your coworkers, you spend so much time with your coworkers that you might as well like them, and you might as well try to be likable. I think this is a very underlooked thing when it comes to coworkers, because I suffer from this for a while too, is that I view coworkers as just coworkers. They can't be my friends. And for the longest time, that was a mistake that I wanted, that was a mistake I made. I think it was it was important to understand that my coworkers can potentially be my friends. And we also spend so much time with them. So why not be likable and also try to like them and try to learn about them, because at the end of the day, they are just people. They are doing the job just as you are. Why not make your job more enjoyable by spending with people that you actually like, right? And you won't learn to like people if you don't learn about them. So again, people are just people. Coworkers are just people. So hey, be likable, and chances are you might end up liking people that like you too, you know what I mean? In conclusion, coworkers can be very helpful, but they can also make your life a nightmare and a living hell if you work with people that do not like you and people that you do not like. So just remember, you spend so much time with these fools that you might as well like them, right? I think that's enough for this video. Until next time, y'all, peace.